Hi everybody. Today I'm going to teach you about hardness. And this video is going to be a little bit different from what we've done. What we're going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to teach you hardness and I'm going to show you how you test for it. And then I am going to run through the hardness of some unknown minerals and I am going to expect you to answer questions. And this is embedded questions, but kind of treat it sort of quiz-like. So I think you'll see what I mean as we get into it. All right, so Mohs hardness scale is based on 1 through 10, with 1 being the softest mineral and 10 being the hardest. And the softest mineral is this. This is talc. This has a hardness of 1, but we're going to go through and show you how you test for it. All right, 10 is going to be diamonds. Diamonds have a hardness of 10. They are the hardest of the minerals. So there are, you can buy hardness points that are pretty expensive, or you can use a couple very common things. You can use your fingernail, you can use a copper penny, a regular nail like you would for putting 2 pieces of wood together, and a piece of glass. All right, so you can use these to test minerals, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to do it. So a fingernail has a hardness of 2 to 2.5, and what that means is that if your fingernail can scratch something, your fingernail is harder, therefore your mineral is going to be less than 2. All right, we might not be able to get to the exact number, but we can at least get to a pretty tight range through here. So let's start off with the talc. I'll explain how you do that. All right, I want you to use your thumbnail. If we were doing this, if we were doing this in real, you'd use your thumbnail and you're going to just scratch. All right, now I have gotten some of the mineral onto my nail, and that can be soft or that can be something called brittle. Okay, brittle is if something breaks. Like this piece of glass can break. If I hit it with a hammer or if I dropped it, it would shatter. That's its brittleness. The hardness is its ability to either scratch or resist being scratches. And we can see there are some scratches on here. Try and change it. There we go. We got it on the light. So you can see a scratch there. So that's a different factor than brittle. So looking back at the talc there, you can see that I scratched this mineral. So that means my fingernail is harder than the mineral. So it is going to have a hardness of less than 2, because my fingernail is 2 to 2.5. All right, let's go to our next one. Let's go to this mineral. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to try our fingernail. Can I scratch it with the fingernail? And that would be a no. So we know that it is harder than my fingernail. So it is somewhere better than 2.5. 2.5 or stronger. That's way too big of a range. We don't want to go with that range. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go to our copper penny. And I'll take a little spot on our copper penny and I'm going to just do a small scratch. Okay. Did it scratch that copper penny? Yes, it did. All right, so this is harder than the copper penny. So it's going to be harder than 3.5. Still too much of a range. So we take our iron nail, and the iron nail you want to hold kind of like a pencil, and you want to see if you can scratch. And if we look at it, there is no scratch on that surface. There is a chip taken out. I didn't do that just now. But there is no scratch. So this is harder than the nail. It's going to be better than 5.5. We want to go a little bit more. So we want to take the glass plate. And we're going to take the glass plate and I'll put a line in it this way so we can see. And I'm going to push down. And see if I can get that light. Oh, there's the light. There, can we see that scratch where my finger is? And I can try and rub it off, make sure it's not just something deposited, and it's definitely a scratch. So this mineral is going to be greater than 6. That's going to be the hardness for this mineral. We can't get any better than that. It's greater than 6, and that's fine. This actually is quartz, and it has a hardness of 7. So we are correct in that placement. If you noticed one thing with the glass plate, again, I didn't hold it in my hand and push because I would snap this glass into my hand and I would cut myself. So safety, always put this down on the ground, okay, or on your tabletop. Now, let's take a look at the next couple minerals. And the next couple minerals, I'll run through the test for you, but then I'm going to embed a question in the video and you need to answer this. All right, if we were in class, I'm sorry, we're not. If we were in class, you'd have a small section of, or a small selection of minerals. You would need to figure this out at your desk, and then we'd go around and we'd talk about it. But we can't do that, so we got to do what we got to do. So we have this mineral here. It's kind of a purplish in color. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can scratch it with my fingernail. And I have not. I may have left a little fingernail on there, but I did not scratch it. All right? So this is stronger than my fingernail. We're going to take the penny and we're going to get a little corner and I definitely scratched the penny with the mineral. So it is going to be harder than the penny. And now I'll take the iron nail and I'll find a little section. Okay. I scratched the mineral with the nail, which means the mineral is softer than the nail. So this is harder than the penny, softer than the nail. It is going to be 3.5 to 5. Harder than the penny, softer than the nail, 3.5 to 5. Okay, you don't want 3 to 3.5, that's the penny. You don't want 5 to 5.5, that's the nail. So 3.5 to 5, okay? All right, now comes the ones I'm gonna quiz you on. Let's start with this, okay? Silvery mineral. I'm going to see if I can scratch it with my fingernail. And I most definitely, not only do I get smudge, I most definitely scratch it with my fingernail. So, what is going to be the hardness? If I can scratch it with my nail, what is the hardness of this? All right, take a look at the scale. Think about it for a minute. I'm going to pause this and embed a question in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, hopefully you answered that one correctly. If you did, all right, let's get to our next one. Here's another mineral. This one is hexagonal in shape. Well, it doesn't matter because we're doing hardness. First thing I'm going to do, can I scratch it with my fingernail? No, I can't. Can I scratch the penny with it? Yes, the penny gets scratched by this. This is going to be harder than the penny. Can I scratch it with the nail? No, there is no scratch there. There's a little bit of nail left, but there is no scratch. This is harder than the nail. And now we're going to take the glass. We'll do right here. Oh, you could probably even hear that. Wipe off any deposit. Right there. Do you see that? Right on this one, I scratched the glass. Okay? So if I was able to scratch the glass, what does that make the hardness of this mineral? Again, I'm going to pause this video and ask you this question in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the last mineral. Okay, here's this nice green one. The last mineral, again, let's scratch with our fingernail. Does not scratch with the fingernail, harder than the nail. Let's take our copper penny. Does it scratch the copper penny? Take a look at that. Would you say that that scratches the penny? Or would you say that does not scratch the penny? I'd say it scratches it. Okay, not a ton, but I'd say it scratches it. Okay. Now let's go to our nail. Let's take our nail, see if we can scratch this. We are definitely able to scratch this right here. All right, so it scratched the penny, the nail scratched it, so it's going to be softer than the nail. What is our hardness for it? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, hopefully you got those all right. If you didn't, please take a look and see why you did not. I'll tell you what, I will go through and tell you that the penny, or the graphite is going to be less than 2. The corundum is going to be greater than 6. And the malachite is going to be 3.5 to 5. So those are what your right answers should have been. Okay? That is how you figure out hardness. We are going to do a gizmo, a virtual lab, and the gizmo is going to go through and do some of this with you, but I wanted you to be able to do it. You will have a lab quiz, as good as we can make it. It's going to be set up similar to what I just did here, where I will show you minerals, and then I will embed questions about the mineral. And I'm going to ask you, what is the luster of the mineral? What is the hardness? What is the, does the mineral show cleavage? Does the mineral show fracture? I will give you choices and let you look through the choices and then quiz you on what the choices are. So I think you'll like it. It's about as good as we can do given the circumstances, but we're going to have fun. We're going to try. All right? Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you later.